We're here in Narrogin today with the Notre Dame medical student hybrid Wheatbelt placement. This year we've had to change our normal placement where our students are billeted with families for a week to a hybrid setting where they have an interaction on a video conference with their host family once a day for 4 days, and in the middle of that we've got a day trip to either Narrogin or Northam. While we're on the day trip, it's important for the students to understand the Aboriginal culture, taking the students on a tour of the Dryandra woodland and explaining the cultural significance of the area. And then we'll get to meet some of the health professionals who live and work in Narrogin, and we'll get to go to a couple of farms so that the students can learn about farm safety and also sustainability, how farmers work with the climate and ever-changing conditions. So what we're hoping to achieve is to open our students' eyes to the possibility of living and working rurally, and who better to do that than the local people who live here and who love this community.
The School of Medicine has a really serious commitment to rural health and Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander health, and we believe that in order to fulfil that mission, we have to actually give students plenty of opportunities to participate. And this is a great example of that. The Community Engagement Week that's been running for many, many years has been a wonderful opportunity for our students to get to know the community, to understand what it's like to live in the rural circumstance, particularly the Wheatbelt, and to understand what healthcare is like in that circumstance. There's been great engagement, and we're starting to see now the fruits of that, with many students committing to going to the country and some now actually practicing in the Wheatbelt, which is great to see. The more we can see that, the more benefit for the community and the more benefit we can see actually also for our students.
I grew up in metropolitan Melbourne, so it's been quite a different experience that I actually have come to enjoy. In terms of the medicine, there's a really broad scope of practice. You get to do more, you get to be more involved. The truth is, medical practice in the country, for me, is a much more wholesome, much more enriching experience with every patient that you meet.
I'm a third-year Notre Dame student. I've got a wife and 3 kids that I bring with me, and we're all really enjoying the life out here. We enjoy the fact that I'm 5 minutes from the hospital, that I get to be home for meals, that I can drop in for lunch and things like that. I'm enjoying the breadth and sort of the unadulterated medicine that we get, where anything that walks in the door, it's very unfiltered and it's genuine community medicine. And for myself, my mantra is that I want to look after the person so that the medicine can look after the people. So I want to make sure that through myself and being in locations like this, I'm able to enjoy them so that I can then have a long career of helping others.
I live on a small farm about half an hour from Narrogin. That's just lovely. We've got young kids, so we're able to raise them there. We've got animals, we've got all those kind of things that you like to do in the country. And then professionally, it's very interesting and very challenging. Most of us who get into medical school have not come from the country, and I can say that from my own experience, having done this very program 10 years ago. I think it's profoundly beneficial, definitely impactful on my decision to come rural.
I'm Holly. I'm a first-year medical student at Notre Dame. After I completed my Masters of Public Health, I went to work for Rural Health West, which kind of sparked off my interest in rural health, and sort of being behind the scenes, you really could see how much need there was basically in rural areas. I called up a GP's office once and the receptionist told me the GP was in surgery, and I thought the GP was having surgery, but they were performing surgery, and she got a good giggle out of that. But that's when I started to realise the breadth of things that country doctors do, which really interested me because I'm interested in lots of different things. Meeting my host via Zoom was definitely a different experience. I was obviously disappointed not to be able to spend the whole week here, but it did have its benefits, and she could show us around her farm, and we got to see her two boys playing and making mud pies, and we also got to show her around kind of our homes and introduce our dogs to each other via Zoom. So it was different, but I think the university's been really adaptable and really determined to still make sure we have a good experience, and the host families have just responded in kind and made it an awesome experience for everyone.
I loved the fact that we initially sent each other packages. So the 4 students I had sent me a package with personal belongings that meant something to them, and also a letter introducing themselves, and then I did the same. So I sent out 4 packages about my life and special things within my life. So at least when we met face to face virtually, we had an understanding of a bit of background about each other, which I thought was really important. Yeah, it was so much fun, and my first virtual host was on the farm, so I walked them around our house and showed them my children playing outside and on motorbikes. It's a fantastic program, and hopefully it brings these future doctors into our region.
I did come into medical school with the idea that I wanted to work in a rural area, and particularly Narrogin, but I think some of the things today that kind of clinched it for me was just the general sense of community and friendliness and openness, and people just wanted to talk to us and tell us about their life. It seems like a wonderful place to sort of settle down and have your community and have your home. So that has cemented it for me, I think, more than anything else.